The next item we're going to look at is broadcasting over a hub from outside of the hub. This allows you to notify clients connected when some event occurs. We get to this by resolving the iConnection Manager interface to get to the context of the hub. Here's a code example. Here we have a public class and notifier. Within it we have a static method of scream passing a message across, and within that we are getting the variable context with the global host.connectionmanager.getHub context, and then we're passing in my hub, which is derived from the hub of SignalR. And then the next line we have context.clients.scream passing the message across. Now the context is the current hub. The .clients represents that we want to pass this to the client side, and the scream is actually the client side function called scream passing the message. So let's look into Visual Studio and see how this has occurred. Back in Visual Studio, let's go ahead and open up our myNotifier.cs that we made in our persistent connection section. In here, essentially, we're going to do something similar that we did with the persistent connection for the hubs to create notifiers for that we can use throughout our web application. So we're going to type in public static void, and we're going to say notify hub string message, and we're going to say var context equals global host connection manager dot get hub context this time, and we're going to say my hub lowercase. Okay, and then we're going to say context dot clients dot add message, reuse our message, MSG. So basically that's going to append our unordered list anytime we call notify hub with whatever message we want. And here we're going to do something similar too. Well, actually, just for now, the group notifier is almost identical the way it is for a persistent connection. The only thing you have to remember is get hub context opposed to get the connection context. The guys that wrote SignalR did a very good job of keeping that very similar. So we'll just stick with notify hub for now. So go ahead and hit save there. And let's hop over to our home controller. And before, where we had my notifier notify us saying someone accessed the front page for our persistent connection, guess what? We're going to do something really similar. Now we're going to do message.notify hub, and of course it's not showing up. Why is it not showing up? Notify hub string message. Oh, you know why? I think I didn't mean to make that a static message. There we go. That's probably my problem right there. There we go. Notify hub, and I am just going to copy the message from last time, and I'm going to throw hub in the comment of that. So I'm going to comment out the other notification, and so essentially it's going to say the same thing, but it's going to have hub in there showing that we're using the hub context and not the persistent connection context in this particular case. So go ahead and hit save, Control F5, and go ahead and click on hubs, and I'm going to copy the URL. Where are we at? We're at, okay. copy the base URL, and I'm going to open up Internet Explorer, paste the URL there, and I'm going to also open up Google Chrome and paste it there as well. So you can see over here on the Firefox window, you can see that our notification did fire using the hub context instead of the persistent connection context for the notifier class. So this has been an example of broadcasting over a hub from outside of the hub, which is really important when you're trying to write these massive web applications using SignalR to take advantage of this. The next thing we're going to look at is using hubs without a proxy. A proxy can be actually created by the client-side code. Here's an example. Here we are creating a connection by instantiating the hub connection, which is actually derived from the connection object from the SignalR library. Below that, we are setting up our own proxy by using the connection we just set and creating our own proxy called myProxy. So let's look into Visual Studio how we can use this. So back in Visual Studio, one of the first things that we want to do is create a new view page for us to use with the noproxy. So go into your home controller and scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to create a new action set. Public action result noproxy. Okay. This return view. Close that. Let's save. Right click on the view. Say add view. Let it default to everything. Okay. All right, and we'll just do a little cleanup here. Section scripts. Oops. Go ahead and establish your script block. Type equals text JavaScript. I swear I select JavaScript again, but whatever. Okay. Alright. And just to make it easy for us to get to this page, let's go ahead and go to our layout, and we will copy the last link there of hubs and paste it, and we will change our value to noproxy. So this way we can have an easy link back to our page once we fire up running it without debug. Okay, so that's all we need to do there. Go ahead and close that. Alright, one other thing we need to do, we are going to attach to MyHub. So let's go ahead and look at this and see what is currently on. Okay, all the reconnects are currently on. That's fine. So we can leave those on. Let's go ahead and uncomment our send task, and Control E, uncomment. And one thing that we need to do is make sure that we're not going to call any method that doesn't exist in our new noproxy. So let's go ahead and comment out the caller and comment out the show alert, where we just have our basic clients.addMessage and then passing the message back. Okay, so let's go ahead and save the myhub.cs, and now let's go back to our noproxy HTML page, and we're just going to add one piece of HTML here, and it's just going to be our unordered list. I'm going to say ID equals messages, just like we have in the other ones, and go ahead and close that, and that's all the HTML we're going to write. Now we are going to establish our noproxy setup of SignalR. So we say var connection equals $dot hub connection, and we're going to say var proxy, which is setting up our new proxy, connection dot create proxy, and we'll create proxy to what? We're going to create a proxy to MyHub, which we established already in the backend, and by default we are going to pass the message of hello world across. And then we have to do a connection dot start, and there's an extender method that we can say done. So when the connection is started and is done, run this code. So when the connection has been made, it is going to run this code, and so we know when that happens. Let's just set a simple alert saying starting connection, or actually connection made, so we know when that connection is made. And then we're actually going to call a function here. So I'm going to define a function down here. So I'll come back to that connection.start. So go say proxy.on, and this is how you set up JavaScript functions that you want the hub to be able to call from the server side. So this is how you do it in the no proxy, which is a little bit different than we've done in persistent connection and using the hubs in general. So proxy.on add message, which is our famous function, comma function, and we're passing the message across. Okay. So within this function, we want to say $sign messages, which is our unordered list, dot append, and we're going to add a list object to it, plus message, plus close the list object. Okay. So that's all that we need to do there for add message. Now we're going to make a function called repeater. This is just a custom function. Its only goal in life is to repeat the calls to the server so we can see it more than once. So var my int, we're going to create an interval here. So we're going to say function, close that, and within this interval function, we're going to say proxy.invoke, which what this does is it means that it's going to try to talk to the hub and execute whatever function you want on the server side. So that's what it's doing here. So I want to execute the send method or task on the server side, and I'm going to pass my message, and then just so we can see that they are different messages going across, I'm going to say new date. So it'll give us a little timestamp there when it actually works. And being an interval, I need to define what the interval is, which is, I'll just say 1 second. So also need to kill that interval so we don't go on forever. So I'm going to do a set timeout and do a function, close my function. Actually, I'll set the timeout for 10 seconds, so it should repeat itself 10 times, and within that we need to do a clear interval of my int, which we defined just above. Okay, so now we can go back to our connection.start function, and we can simply call our repeater function that we just defined down here. So now what this should do is this should make a connection. It should create our proxy on the fly to my hub, which we defined on the server side. It's going to pass this message hello world, and I'm going to change the O to a lowercase. Then here it's going to start the connection up, and when it's done, it's going to run this function inside of it. It should give us an alert, say the connection's been made, and then it's going to try to run the repeater function, which is down here, which has an interval that has within the interval a proxy.invoke that is going to execute the server-side send method and pass this data of message and the new date along for every second, and the timeout is going to allow that to run for 10 seconds, so we should have 10 tries in there, and then it's going to clear out that interval, and then the page will be done. So Let's go ahead and save this and hit Control F5, and we'll see what happens. Okay, go to your no proxy page. Connection's been made, and nothing is happening. So apparently I must have fat fingered something, so let's go look to see what we're doing wrong. Okay, let's see. Messages. Wait. Oh, I forgot the S on our element here. Let's hit save and let's go back to our no proxy. Hit refresh. Connection made. Okay, now it's working. I guess that's what happens when you don't identify your element correctly. So as you can see, it did 10 repeats. So it did a post back to our hub, creating the proxy on the fly, passed the message hello world along with the date stamp there, and apparently my computer is time is wrong, so that's old. So anywho's, that is how you do the no proxy within the hubs.